Well, the journey continues for the South Dakota State women's basketball team. It is Sunday here in Palo Alto, California, one day after the Jacks secured a 74-71 first-round tournament victory over Miami, and one day before their big matchup against number 4 Stanford. Now, today's practice was closed off to the media, but South Dakota State getting very familiar with the Maples Pavilion court over the past few days. Head coach Aaron Johnston says it was nice to play on a neutral court for round 1, but says their familiarity will now help them in their round 2 matchup in what amounts to a true road game.
Neutral court games are easier than road games, absolutely. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. There'll be obviously a good crowd there, and a crowd that's used to winning, a crowd that's used to NCAA tournaments. So the game tomorrow to them is going to feel very comfortable. You know, they're in their own environment as players, own environment as fans. And it does present another challenge, especially with the runs that go into games. Handling a run is a tough thing to do, but when a crowd is really involved too, that just adds another layer of pressure. And so our team will have to respond really well and not get themselves too out of our system when those things happen, because it will happen. Stanford will have their runs, and we've got to make sure we answer it with some runs of our own. But we're a lot more prepared to play in front of some of those crowds than maybe people outside of our area would give us credit for.
You know, when they go on runs, they'll go on runs, we'll go on runs. You know, it's just the game, and, you know, we just got to, stay focused, and when they go on runs, just, calm ourselves and just make the next play.
Now, as we previously mentioned, South Dakota State playing a Power 5 school is nothing new. They played the likes of Notre Dame and Maryland earlier this year in the non-conference portion of their schedule, and that gives the Jacks something that no other mid-major team really has, sort of a grittiness and a good mindset heading into these games against big schools. In fact, the Notre Dame game earlier this year was SDSU's biggest loss at 11 points. Their other 5 losses have come by a combined 21 points.
Well, I think the things that have helped us this year is we've been very good defensively. I think you saw that even yesterday. Miami came out, was making a lot of shots early, but they were tough contested shots. They weren't, breakdowns where a team just got going. Our transition defense has been pretty good, where we haven't let teams run out and get 10, 12-0 runs where you really feel like you get behind. So defensively, I think that's been one of the main factors why we've been in every game. And offensively, we're pretty solid. I know yesterday was there's some loose turnovers, totally get it, but as a whole this year we've taken care of the ball, we've gotten good shots, we have the right people trying to make the right plays, and when you can do those things, you have a chance to be in every game.
SDSU's resiliency could be seen in the game against Miami yesterday, particularly in the third quarter when the Jacks outscored the Canes 18-9. SDSU held the lead for the entire second half, and despite some heavy pressure from Miami, they were able to maintain that lead.
We talked at halftime that basically who comes out right away, the first 4 minutes are going to be very crucial, and whoever owns those 4 minutes will come out on top. So having that in our mind, I thought we came out the first 4 minutes and just executed every play, every defensive stop.
Despite SDSU's experience against the big-name schools, make no mistake about it, the Jacks know that Stanford is going to be a very tough opponent in the second round, and they have to come out with the same mindset as they did against Miami.
We've played against crowds like that, especially in the Summit League tournament where we've had those big crowds. We usually can feed off those, their energy too. So knowing that we have to get big stops against Stanford at their home court will be big. So just having that in the back of our minds will always just know we have to get the big stops.
We'll have much more from Stanford University as the Jacks prepare to face the home school, the Cardinal, on Monday night in the round of 32.